The Bamboo Project podcast starts in 3, 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Bamboo Project podcast. My name is DonivanGray, the future $10 billion man. On the way to 10 billion, I decided I'm going to help create 1,000 millionaires, including myself. And not by being a guru or selling a course, but by doing the things I already love to do every day and documenting my journey to get there. I figure I'll make all the mistakes so you don't have to. My name is DonivanGray, and this is how I will turn my life into a living. I'd like to start off by giving a shout out to all the people rocking with us and supporting the channel. We really appreciate every single one of you. We are currently streaming on all major streaming platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, you name it, we on it. And if we not on it, we about to be on it. For everyone listening to this podcast and not watching it, you can find us on YouTube at The Bamboo Project. We have over 500 videos on our channel. Do you want to see our real estate journey? We got that. Do you want cooking tutorials inspired by Dr.Sebi? We got that. Do you want travel and lifestyle vlogs? Got it. Hair and makeup tutorials? Got it. Basketball? Got it. Turo? Got it. Candles? Got it. It's everything us. All the parts of the journey that don't make it to YouTube will be on our story. You can find me on Instagram at DonivanGray, DonivanGray, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing, creative genius girlfriend, Anita Byrne, ANETABURN. We made different playlists for all the things we are into, and you can find each of those links in the description box below. This may be your first time here, and if it is, welcome to the family. But for everybody else, this is chapter 4, page 4. It is 11:30 a.m. and today is Wednesday, April 12th. All right. So now, before we get into the topics of the day, we start off with screen time check. For all those who are new, that is when we check our phones and we see how much time we have been giving to it over the last week. All right, we see what apps we've been using, how long we've been using them for, how many pickups we had. Okay, last week, every day, I spent an average of 8 hours and 39 minutes on my phone every single day. Damn. Which is down, don't be a hater, from the week before, which was 9 hours and 57 minutes.
8 hours.
That's a 13. It's not 8 hours. 8 hours and 39 minutes. That's 13% decrease from last week. It's not about hitting a goal. It's about the journey, Melissa. It's about getting to where you want to get to.
Oh yeah.
All right. Except for you. Yours be too high. All right. So now, the most used app was YouTube for 11 hours and 16 minutes. Then it was Instagram for 10 hours and 44 minutes. And then it was camera for 6 hours and 55 minutes. My highest usage day was Tuesday, which was April 4th for 11 hours and 19 minutes. I picked up my phone on average 141 times per day.
Damn.
First used app after pickup, don't be a hater, was Instagram for 143 pickups for the whole week. And then YouTube for 94 pickups. Alright, now, baby girl, what was your screen time like last week?
So like you might have a problem.
Yes, my problem is why your screen time is so high. That's my problem.
Okay. So my screen time for last week is 6 hours. So it's up 5%.
I bet it is. So you're going in the wrong direction. It's about the journey, Melissa. It's about going down, not up.
So I was on Instagram for 7 hours, Gmail for 6 hours, TikTok for 3.5 hours, music for 3 hours, and camera for 2 hours. On average, I picked up my phone 130 times a day. My most pickup was Sunday for 227 times, and that's when I was selling at the craft fair.
Okay. Before I get into the topics of the day, if y'all don't know, we have 2 YouTube channels. Go follow the other one as well as this one, Ember Candle Co. We making moves on that channel. It's 100% gonna surpass the Bamboo Project YouTube channel, at least for now, until we start getting real money and can kind of have more content on this channel. But YouTube really likes niche content. That's how the algorithm works. If you do one thing, they promote it to more people because that they know who your audience, or they think they know who your audience is. So they go, hey, you watched a candle video? Here's another candle video. But if you're doing too many things, they kind of like cut you off at the legs about who they are going to send your content to. So, you know, it is what it is, but there's a lot of things happening on that channel. A lot of things that kind of come up on here, but also don't, will be in our weekly vlogs over there. Now, subscriber check. Alright, so on the Bamboo Project, we are currently at 6,455 subscribers. And on the Ember Candle page, we are at 324 subscribers. Alright, that last vlog almost had 400 views, and that's more views than we have subscribers, and that video is like an hour and a half long. Crazy. Insane. So first topic that's on tap for today is a little convo that came up in last week's podcast, which I've had several conversations with different people about since that podcast came out. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but all the conversations I've had have been in, what's the word I'm looking for? Opposition to what my thoughts are on the subject. For those who have not heard the last podcast, it was pretty much me saying that I do not think a man can become a woman or a woman become a man. That's pretty much my stance. Anything else after that is up to whoever else wants to talk about it, but that's my like starting point. The fact that that's even some type of conversation to be had is already crazy within itself, but once you start changing what words mean and redefining things that we all have agreed on as a society, that's when you start having all the secondary, third, fourth questions where it's like, okay, well, what does it mean to be a woman? And if a woman is this, then does that mean all the other women are not a woman now because they don't fall in that category? Do we now have subsections of a woman where it's like, as opposed to it being a woman who is once you start trying to break it up the way they have, you just get all types of variations, iterations of what people say a woman's supposed to be. And funny enough, I feel like this conversation usually only pertaining to men becoming women. Even though the opposite exists, I feel like it's usually the opposite thing going on. But the reason that we had that conversation was because we were invited to an event that was LGBTQIA plus, trans, queer, BIPOC, and everything and I think it was GNC. I forgot that one. That's a new one too. That stands for gender non-conforming. I don't even know why we have all the things at this point. I feel like we only need one. Come on, okay, you got lesbian, right? You got LG, that's gay. You got bisexual, which means you like both. LGBT, T is trans. And then you have LGBTQ, which is queer. That's the thing. I feel like everything is just queer. I don't know what queer even means at this point. Like I'm like, once you get to Q, it's like, I feel like everything falls in that category. Trans people are queer. Gay people are queer. Let me look up what queer means. Maybe I don't know what the definition is of queer. Because I feel like once you just have all of these infinite variables or infinite definitions of what people can decide to be any day of the week, it never ends. And you can't have society like that. Like you can't. Oh. Okay, so queer means denoting or relating to a sexual or gender identity that does not correspond to established ideas of sexuality and gender, especially heterosexual norms. See, that's my problem. Why do we even need everything else? Everybody on the LGBTQIA is queer. That's it. That's literally, if that's the definition of queer, right? You do not conform to the standards that society has put up, that a man and a woman have sex with each other, and that's the standard. Like that's, if you don't agree with that, then that makes you're queer. If you're on the other side or whatever, having all the other, there's a new term I saw called TERF, which is exclusionary radical feminists, right? It's just like we just added more words and letters and things. So I digress. Last week the conversation was about whether or not I was compromising my morals by going to an event that I don't agree with, right? And anybody starting a business or in situations that are similar to this, I can give you my opinion on it and how I have felt since then. If anybody has a similar situation that they're going through or will go through in the future, right? How I thought about it for me was, if someone were to ask me, Donovan, do you stand for X? And I go, yes. Then why are you endorsing Y? I feel like if I have to jump through hoops to give an explanation, then that is an example of me compromising my morals, right? So to make it easy for myself, if this is something that I stand on, then just stand on that. And whatever comes with that, right? And when I was having the thoughts last week or the week before about it, I definitely had the battle because mentally, I'm telling myself it's not that big a deal. Like, how many people would really care that you went to this thing, right? No one would really care. But the most important person that would care would be me, because once I go to that, going forward, now I have to question my responses to things and how I feel about certain topics, because I now have conceded my morals by going to an event that I disagreed with, right? One thing that for me that I have always tried to do, and I feel like is why I sleep so well at night, is
that shade?
Absolutely. To you and everybody else that doesn't sleep well at night, because
shade.
I don't think about decisions that I've made where I was compromising my morals. I don't think about that. I just go to sleep, right? And I didn't want to have a situation where it could possibly be a thing that I think about throughout the day, where I'm like, okay, now I'm questioning, well, what do I really believe in? What do I stand on? What do I stand in? And I would have this idea or this example of something that I did that I can now have to go, wow, I can't take that back, right? And I think one of the worst things a person can be is a hypocrite. I think being a hypocrite is right up there with the devil's advocate. They are two of the worst positions and labels to take, because a hypocrite is someone that knows, or is someone that says they don't agree with something and do the thing, and still operate on both sides of that party. That to me is an issue, because you have to. Society works when people stick in what they stick in. If you are conservative, you are center, you are whatever that's left, Republican, Democrat, whatever you want to call it. Society works because you have both of those, right? I don't think it works when you have you have people who don't choose a side on what they like to do. Like, you can be, okay, if I could break this down, you can be a person that is against guns, right? And also be someone that's pro-abortion, right? Let me see.
That's the same person.
Right. So you would be pro-life and against guns.
Pro-life
is conservative.
Against guns is liberal.
Yeah. Right. So I was looking for liberal. And I think that society works when you stand in that. And you can change your mind, or I can change my mind, or anybody else, once you have new information that comes in and has you go, I didn't think about it like that. Now I think about it differently. Right? But not changing your mind because of how everybody else will perceive you to be. Because if you don't think the thing, don't now say you believe this thing because other people say you should believe it. That just seems like a crazy way to live a person's life. Because you take yourself further and further away of learning about who you are and what you like by trying to conform to everybody else's opinions on certain things. So I think there are two paths you can always take. You can either go deeper into yourself and learn more about who you are and what you like so you can be more comfortable in that, or the other, much more treacherous life is trying to appease everybody coming into contact with. Because now you're always worrying about somebody else thinking or saying to you, well, didn't you say that you like the color blue, but not the color red? Which one are you? Now you're stuck in a situation where you're like, now you're anxious. You're like, well, I do like blue, but I do like red. It's like, well, which one do you like? Like, you was real adamant about liking this particular topic, but now you're adamant about liking this particular topic with no reason as to why you switch those things. That's to me why I don't like the label of a devil's advocate, because I think it's a cop-out to then appease anybody listening to that conversation. If you are talking to somebody and y'all both feel a certain type of way about something, then have that conversation. Then say what you think about whatever that conversation is. You don't need to have, well, let me play devil's advocate, because you both already agree on the thing. Just have that conversation. So that's why I hate that label and I hate hypocrite. Since deciding not to go to the event, I feel a huge weight off my shoulder. Like, I don't have to feel like I'm going to a thing I don't want to go to. I don't have to think about what comes from that, who I will be after it happens, or anything like that. It's just, you don't agree with this thing. No one has given you any evidence or reasoning or any type of new fact that would make me think differently about this thing. So I have no reason to think differently about it. Like, that's it. So before we came on the podcast, I was looking at, I was on Twitter. And on Twitter, it seems like Bud Light decided to, their VP of marketing decided that she wanted to choose to take the brand in a more woke direction. Inclusive direction, my bad, excuse me. Right? That's more of that double speak. We call it inclusive. Because it's just wrong. We're calling it wrong. But
she said inclusive.
Right. She used the word inclusive, but that's one of those buzzwords that you can't go against, because there's so many of these little mind tricks that people play. Because if I said, if you want to be an inclusive brand, where's the pedophiles? Where's the murderers and the rapists? Are we inclusive of them?
That is I know what fallacy it is. Let me pull it up.
Okay. Go ahead. Pull it up. Slippery slope.
Right. I think it is that one.
I've been working on my fallacy arguments to argue people who are foolish.
Fallacy is a slippery slope. You'd be like, so you gonna give a child a gun? It's gonna turn to a missile? That's not how
my fallacies work. My fallacy is what I'm saying now is in direct response to the word inclusive. My thing is, we're being inclusive.
Right. And then it's a slippery slope, so then we go include people like pedophiles.
Right.
What you're saying, right?
Right.
But that is not, it's a fallacy.
Why? But no. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. No. See? Trying to get me there. I gotta figure out what the fallacy you're using is. It's not the right one. So oh no, you are. I know which one you're using. It's not the one you're using. Honestly, which one are you using? I know which one you're using. I know. I can't think of the name of it. I know what fallacy. I think it's number 3. I can't remember it. What? Give me the list.
Appeal to emotion.
Okay.
Using emotions instead of evidence to support the argument.
No, not that one.
A false dichotomy.
I think it's that one. Go ahead. Give me that one.
Feminine argument has a choice between two extreme options, such as either we support gender transition, or we're denying people of their basic human rights.
So that's what I use a lot. I use that one a lot. I use extreme. I use the false dichotomy pretty often. That's my the slippery slope one. Slippery slope I don't use that much.
You
that one.
Use that every
no,
day.
I don't. The false dichotomy is the one you have an extreme.
Slippery slopes be like just flying at you.
No, they don't.
Absolutely.
That you appeal to emotion.
I'm not.
You are. That's not true. Cause I'm like, that's not. I don't use it that often.
You do.
But I don't.
But you do. You do use it. You use it probably as often as you use your false dichotomies.
No, I make parallels and connections. That's not a slippery slope.
What do you mean?
If I say, okay, right now. If I say, Melissa, outside is raining.
Okay.
If you walk outside, you will get rain on you. That's what I say.
No, it's not. You literally was like, okay, she won't be inclusive. What does that mean? Where do we stop with the inclusivity?
No. See, that's not what you're using a straw hat argument right now. That's either that or the red herring. Using one of those two. I think it might be the red herring one. It might be the red. What's that red herring one? It's one of those two for sure.
Red herring is diverting attention from the main issue.
Yes, that's what you're doing. Yes. No. You are. Yes, I'm gonna tell you how you're using red herring, because what I was saying is that the word inclusive is a buzzword to use to get people to agree with the thought that she's going with.
Right, and then you're...
No. Because what I'm saying, if you're being inclusive, if the word that you want to go with is inclusive, what does the word mean?
And then you use a slippery slope to then... You use a slippery slope to then further your position or further your point of it is... Like how far does this go, right?
No, that's not what I'm saying. Not how far does it go. I'm saying don't use the word inclusive because that's not what you're trying to do.
Right, and then you use the slippery slope in order to show an example of that.
No, I'm saying that you are not.
So then where the pedophiles came from?
Because if her thing is we're doing this to be inclusive. Inclusive of what?
Right, and then you say a slippery slope.
No, what do you mean? The word inclusive is the wrong word to use.
So what word would it be?
We want to invite either younger or trans people.
Because inclusive doesn't mean include everybody. Maybe.
What it does? That's what inclusive means.
Because it could. Let's see. Because I'm not sure. Inclusive means including and covering all the services.
Right.
Facilities or items normally expected.
Yes. That's
not excluding any of the parties or groups involved in something.
Exactly. So by definition of the word, they would include pedophiles, murderers, and rapists. Which is why I'm saying that they're using double speak as the word inclusive to get people to go, well, of course you want to be inclusive, because what they'll say is, this is the argument that they'll use. They'll say, oh, Donovan, you don't want to use the word inclusive? They'll use what's the one with the bigot one? What's that one? What's the bigot one? It's a little in the bottom. It's number one. It's like ad hominem.
I think so.
Right. They would use an ad hominem to go, oh, Donovan, you don't want to be inclusive? You're racist. Yeah. That's why they use the word inclusive, because you can't argue against that word, because now you look like you would be a bigot or a racist. Right? That's the problem. So my issue is, don't use that word that's inaccurate. It's the wrong word. So if you want to say you want to be more inclusive of a certain particular group, sure. If you want to say you want to be more woke or go for a younger audience, sure. Right?
Which is also what she said.
It is. But the inclusive part is where I'm like, that's one of those slippery, that's something else. Something that you can't use that word. It's double speak. Okay? So I'm working on my skills. All right? I'm going to get it up there. But let me bring it back. Okay? So Bud Light has a VP of marketing, and she decides that she wants to be more including of the trans community and use that to somehow bolster a relationship or connection with the younger audience, right? Which is insane. Their sales fell off a cliff. Like, the word the article used was a bloodbath. So an example of that, or an anecdote from the article, they have a dart tournament or agreement or meetup or something. It's 100 people that do it. They said they normally sell 495 12-ounce bottles of Bud Light, right? Once they switched over from their regular marketing to they partnered with a TikToker who is trans, who is a man transitioning into a woman. That's what they partnered with. Instead of selling 495 bottles of Bud Light, they sold 12. Like, that's an example of how bad the sales fell off. They were saying that in one situation the sales had dropped 50%, and in the other situation, I'm wrong. The following week it dropped 70%. Do you know how crazy it is for anything to drop 70%? Imagine going to buy a car and it was 70% off. You would get the newest model car for 50 grand for $15,000. That's how big a drop that would be. Okay, you cannot sustain 70% decline in sales for long periods of time. And that showed me that it's fine to be who you are, regardless of what other people are going to think about you. Like, I already feel like that very, very strongly. And there are so many instances of where that comes up in life. Another one is Chick-fil-A. Another one is Apple. Like, y'all know Chick-fil-A is super conservative. So conservative that they don't even open on Sundays. They are strongly against the gay community. Like, they do not support homosexuality at all, right? They don't support it. People who are gay will still buy the sandwich because the sandwich is good. They're like, listen, I'm gonna be who I am, and Chick-fil-A's gonna be who they are. You're like, listen, I'm mad at y'all, but sandwich is good. I'm going in there. As long as you're not hurting me or do nothing crazy, I'm gonna eat your sandwich, right? Bud Light said, we are going to go against who we are as a brand, and we are going to promote more of this quote unquote inclusivity, right? Their customer base is like, we are not for that. My assumption of beer drinkers are Midwestern, right? Male college students. Like, these are the kind of people I feel like that drink beer. People that go out more, in my opinion, stereotypical masculine men drink more beer. That's my assumption, right? These are not the people that want to see their beer bottle have rainbows on it. They don't want to go online and see a trans woman promoting the beer. For me, making the decision to not go feels like a weight has coming off of me, and I know that other people out there who are either in business or who are doing things that they feel like they would have to compromise what they feel. Do what you do. Like, even if you're racist, like I say this all the time, be racist. Like, as a black person who talks to other black people who know black people, you could ask any black person this, they're gonna be like, bro, if you want to be racist. I don't gotta rock with you. I don't care. Like, if you think that, something is wrong with you. Like, you think that the color of the skin makes you something different. That's how you think. But we would much rather know that's how you feel. That's not how you feel. So, and right, let me find somebody that's racist.
You would do what?
Be friends with someone that's racist. Overtly racist.
Overtly racist? I feel like that's hard.
If you call me the hard R, that'd be tough.
Nah, because I feel like it's how, if you're a racist, I feel like it comes out in different ways. Mm-hmm. Like, it might be like an all-encompassing thing where you just might be minding your business with your friend, and then they say, well, you know, because you're uneducated, you know, da da da.
But see, that's the thing. I wouldn't mind that. I don't know if I want to be my friend, but I would much rather be around that person than a person who's like, well, you know, I have a black friend, so I'm not racist. And it's like, now you sound stupid. I'd rather be at the park with somebody and go, listen, man, you know, black people, they be late eating fried chicken and watermelon. Like, I'd rather be around them and be like, bro, you sound like, come on, bro. And he's like, well, listen, that's what the thing. Because now it's like they really believe that they're standing on that, so we can have that conversation, as opposed to somebody else who's actually racist but pretending not to be. They're like, well, I'm not racist. I just think that, you know.
Oh, I guess. Okay, where it's kind of like, if you're a scorpion, you're a scorpion.
Right.
But if you a chameleon, it's kind of like,
I don't know what to do with you.
It's gonna leak out still. So I'm gonna think we cool.
Exactly.
And then I'm gonna turn around and
yes. I'm gonna be like, why did you tell my boss?
Person that I already know.
Right. I'm not gonna put this racist that I know in a position to be racist towards me. I'm not gonna say, you know what? Give me a job at a job. I'm not gonna try and do that because I don't know what you're gonna try to do. Right. But I'm okay with that. I don't want my mans or my friend who would be like, this is my guy, right? And I'm like, all right, bro, we're gonna go fight these people over here. And we go over there, and he leave me hanging. He's like, hey, listen, man, I don't know what happened. I don't know. I saw them. I left. I can't have that, right? So that's why for me, I always say just stand in your own thing. But they never responded back. I don't think I sent them any like crazy email. I feel like it was a very standard, like, hey, Melissa would go. I didn't say that, but I'm like, if it was during the week, Melissa probably would have went. If we didn't have a booking that day, we might have went. I wouldn't have went. And I'm like, hey, there's another brand that is queer that sells candles.
You told them that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'm like, listen, you should have asked them. They would probably enjoy this event, right? Go ahead. I feel like that's but I also feel like that's kind of like slightly wrong to have said too. Like after the fact, I was kind of like, because that was my example of saying I have a gay friend.
Yeah.
Right. That's what that was, and I'm like, I didn't feel it in the moment. I was trying to be nice, but that's the problem. I should have been like, nah, it's not for me. So, like I said, I'm working on it. I'm not 100%. I'm working towards getting me like, listen, that's not for me. They might have respected that even more.
And I think the reason is suggesting, the reason why that's a little off is that suggesting them in particular doesn't really line up with why you can't do it, if that makes sense.
But I gave them multiple options, and that was one of them. I was like, hey, we could give you the candles and you want to sell them, we could split it. If it was during a week, we might be able to go. And if you really want a candle brand to be there, we know a candle company that's called this, that's a queer candle company. It's tough. And you could try asking them. Because I'm like, I feel as though it's gonna be difficult to have brands do that event, regardless of whether they're pro or against.
Just in general,
right?
little much.
I think even some trans people will be like, I don't even know if I'm gonna go to that.
Right. Aside from that's Donovan's main thing. Mm-hmm. But aside from that, it's still very.
Right. I'll post some pictures up on the screen of what. Yeah. It's on Instagram, so it's public. They're not a private page. I'll post some. I won't post the name of the brand, but I'll post pictures that were of the event that they had in the past.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, sure, like that, So like I said, I think that was me trying to be nice to some degree, but even still, I shot myself in the foot by saying that. I really think I should have just been like, nah, it's not for me. So I'm still working on myself too, guys. I'm still working on myself. I'm gonna try that next time. And then let's see what else in that situation. Oh, and then
I don't think that's fully accurate though, because like I would have went.
In terms of what you mean?
So like that, like half the brand would have been there.
Oh, that's true too.
So
that's
I don't think.
I mean, if somebody comes to me, I'm about to be like, listen, let me ask Melissa if she would go, because I'm not gonna go. What do you think? That's what I was saying. Yeah. Hey, Donovan, we're having a pro-trans event. You ain't trying to go? Nah. Babe, you want to go to that? You want to go? She'll go. I'm not going to go. I'm okay. Are you transphobic? As an ad hominem. Just because I don't want to go to the trans event, don't make me a bigot. I'm getting this. I'm like, ooh, this one right here, these fallacies, I'm going to be killing them.
Hominem?
I'm like, I'm a homosexual.
Cut that off.
That's funny. But yeah. So and then for anybody else, this is the last thing I'm gonna say about this particular thing. I'm always open to having a conversation with anybody. Like, if you want to have an open dialogue and discussion, I am down for that. The one thing I have noticed, or I believe, is that the trans community aren't really up to talking about being trans. Like, I don't feel like there's ever really a sophisticated dialogue around being trans. I feel like when it comes to other conversations, people are always open to having that talk and talking about their side. whether it be gay, whether it be lesbian, whether it be bi, whether it be gun control, political, store, whatever you feel like, people are like, nah, bro, I think this anime is better than that anime. Like, people are open to have that conversation. For some reason, I feel like people just kind of go, well, we're not gonna talk about that. Like, yeah, they're trans and they say they are, so we're gonna leave it at that. But no one ever wants to be like, really? That's kind of weird. That doesn't make sense. So, but yeah, that's that on that. The next topic is house update. I know y'all love the house update, even though I hate it. I'm trying to get this over with. So, recently I had a conversation with 2 family members, and it was in relation to the update on the house because they invested money into the house, right? Now, y'all been watching the podcast for a little bit, right? So I think it's safe to assume that y'all have some kind of understanding of my personality, right? I'm pretty sure y'all would probably call me argumentative. I think maybe aggressive. I think I've been called arrogant once in the comments. Like, these are kind of the words that are used to describe my personality, right? And I always find it interesting just because I know how much I don't say, right? So, what?
I don't know if that's like, I don't know if that helps your argument.
I just think it's funny because I don't feel like the things that I say are that. But I'm like, I know that I have another level that I have been at, that I can see somebody calling me those things, right? So I tend to, at least in my belief, understand other people's side, right? I feel as though once I understand your side thoroughly, that is when I will tell you that you're crazy, right? What?
Just trying to see where this goes.
So, a common trend for people when it comes to the candle company, right, is to go and discreetly shit on the candle company, right? They try to make little snide comments, they snicker, they make little jokes, right? And I'm just be like, what is called for? I don't understand where this comes from, right? So if someone goes, hey, what you doing? How you been? I go, I'm selling candles. They go, right? And I'm like, what was all of that? They go, oh, no, nothing. It was nothing. But yeah, how was your mom? Right? And I'm like, you know, I can hear you. You know, like, I heard your response to what I said. Like, I picked up, I heard that. I don't know if you don't know that I did, and that's in my brain now. I remember that, right? So that tends to be a very common conversation or a common interaction when I bring that up, right? I've had people go, oh, are you working now? I'm like, I'm selling candles. Go, oh. So yeah, so you go back on a bike? You get back on the bike, right? And I'd be like, really? I'm like, huh, that is very interesting. Another interaction that tends to come up is when it comes to paying people back with the candle money, right? This one seems to be a very sore topic, especially in relation to the house. And this one I don't understand at all. Mathematically, my brain doesn't get how people perceive numbers. There could be something I'm missing. Hopefully, maybe Melissa could bring it up to me that I don't see. Okay. If in the first month of the year, selling candles on the weekends, we made $5,000, right? Then the following month, we went from $5,000 to $10,000. And then in the following month, we went from $10,000 to $16,000, right? My brain instantly goes to, wow, y'all have something there with the candles. there's a lot of growth here for that, right? That's what my brain goes to. But when I tell somebody, right, I'm like, yeah, in the last 2 months we did like 25K. The response is, well, it's 2 of y'all, so that's like 12K. So that's like 6K a month. So you probably have like a 60K job for the year. And I'm like,
that's still a very good job.
I'm like, why are you even doing that math? We're having a conversation about what we did last month. And like Melissa just said, that is a decent job. Like 60K a year selling candles. That's probably a manager I could be a manager probably at Apple, or like I might even be close to a regional manager for certain locations, for certain like popular like Chipotle, maybe even Starbucks. Might be like 65, 75K a year as a manager.
60K a year could be in the medical field easily.
Right? Some medical field, it could be like certain lawyers.
Bro, I went to college like to make 60K. Like that was one of my goals at first, and that would be to be like a manager, like at a media company.
Right, and honestly too, what does a figurehead get paid at these companies? They probably getting paid like 80K, 90K, right?
That's what I'm saying. So like a senior something in the journalism division will probably get.
Right. So my brain, it be baffling me, right? And as I'm saying this to y'all, I'm kind of having a revelation, right? And I don't really know how to fix this revelation, or the problem that arises from my revelation. People don't know how much ground we still have to cover. And I think
at all.
Right. I think in their mind, they see it as, oh, that's like your ceiling. Like that, you guys have maxed out at what you want to do.
Right. It's like this. I'm like, you don't think we could grow from here?
Right. That's what it is. And I'm like, that's the revelation I'm having. Is that people, we make 10K in a month and they go, oh, that was a really good month, but that's probably all you're going to make. Because honestly, you know what it is? I know what it is. Okay. Alright, now my brain's starting to do some more of its thinking. When you have a regular job, if you make 5K this month, you're going to make 5K next month. And you're going to make 5K the month after that. You maybe get a raise for some reason, but you're going to make the same amount of money every month as long as you come into work. So there's no situation where, unless you have like a bonus paying job where, oh, okay, you worked 5K, you made 5K this month, next year you could possibly make 25, 30K. It's not really a thing.
Right, and that's the other thing too. Typically, your performance isn't directly correlated to the amount of money you make.
Exactly.
So if we perform more, if we do more fairs like we did in February, then we're gonna make more money. If we perform less, if we do less fairs, we're gonna end up like January.
Right.
And yeah, none of the fluctuations and changes that the company still goes through doesn't affect you necessarily directly. So if the company, let's say it's a Target or something like that, where for certain seasons you'll have more people buying certain things than others. Mm-hmm. So let's say like the end of the year where everyone's holiday shopping. Target probably racks in most of their money during that season, but that doesn't necessarily increase the amount of money that you're making because you're not Target. Right.
And that is an argument I have for, just the things I see online every now and again in favor or against, my bad, of business entrepreneurship is people want to get paid more money, right? Do I think there's room to get paid more money? Sure. I do think that there is room for that. I don't know how businesses work in terms of why they chose to only pay $15 an hour. I don't know. But what I do know is people would for surely be upset if their salary or income was based on the company performance. Or even your own performance. Because then you would be like, well, I thought I was going to make $500 this week. And you're like, well, the store only made $3,000. Huh?
That happened to me and I was pissed off.
Oh, how did, your actual salary went down?
Not my salary.
Your hours went down.
I think it was, so when I was working at Victoria's Secret, I was a bra fitting specialist. So if you're a regular sales associate, you get commissions for stuff. So for me, because I'm not a sales associate, how it works is that the amount of bras that they sell as a company for that store for that month, that's how I would get my bonus.
Oh, you got a bonus?
I would get a bonus if the store sold over a certain amount of bras. So when it came down for my personal evaluation for how I was doing, they gave me a negative evaluation because the company wasn't doing well.
Yeah, I remember that.
And to me that's fucking stupid, because I was doing my job. I got people buying bras and all that stuff. And it's even harder to directly correlate that to the bra fitting specialist, because if someone brings that person to me, that's their sale. I'm just the person that helped them in the booth. But I'm one of the more integral people, because if you don't feel good while you're in my care, you're not gonna it's gonna make it worse for the salesperson.
Right.
So I'll make sure that the bra fits you well, and this is the style you like. That salesperson is gonna get you 5 different colors and 15 different panties to go with it, and get you perfumes on top. So it's like but I didn't like that they negatively affected, put that report in my file, because now it'll give you more ground later on if you decide you want to fire me.
Yeah.
And it's not directly related to me. It's how the company did.
Right. And I think that a lot of people have that mindset, because the majority of people that invested in us aren't entrepreneurs or don't live that kind of lifestyle. And another pet peeve that I have is, which even when it comes to the trans thing or just any topic in general, what I really don't like is for people to just have a comment and not have the energy or the grounds or the reasoning to say, you know what, I want to have that convo with you. I want to ask you questions. If I ever say something that you don't understand, the way to understand that is to ask a question. If you don't agree with something, you ask a question. That's literally how we had this conversation 6 months ago. Ask people questions to understand what they're trying to say, right? But to just make assumptions about situations without asking any questions or having any information about it is crazy to me. So within the house situation, right? People are saying that it's always crazy to me. They're like, it seems like you don't care about the house, which they then correlate to you don't care about our money, which is a slippery slope fallacy. Okay, boom, I'm getting y'all. Or it could be a false equivalency. We're getting to figuring out all the fallacies, but
some of them overlap for sure.
When it comes to the house, and I don't understand people with this situation. My brain doesn't get it at all. My brain, I be trying to grasp the concept that other people are saying, and it doesn't make sense. Okay. As of right now, I don't know any way to get money back from the house from a sale. If you guys have a way that you know to sell the house that has the house has been broken into 4 times. There's no kitchen, there's no appliances, there's no water heater, and there's damage to the house, right? On just the hard money loan, there's probably $180,000 worth of debt to pay back to them. Roughly maybe 175, 180, something in that range, right? There's still an agent on the property, so he's gonna get 6% of the sale. So I have to add his 6% on top of the 180 of whatever that sale is, right? Houses in the area right now, because of how the market is, fully finished and renovated, are going for like $230. I just seen prices in the area drop recently, going for like $230, $240, right? That's fully finished, renovated houses. So the damaged house that we have is probably, maybe if I find someone that's really, really, really trying to get a house on that area, $200K. Anybody that buys that house damaged is gonna want the damaged price, because they have to now put in probably 20-30 grand just to fix it to get it to be sold or rented. So they're not gonna pay the 200. They're gonna want to pay 170. maybe 180, maybe, right? So I'm like, okay, guys, people keep bringing stuff to me like you should sell it to somebody. The only option that I see that's even a viable option, which Tori brought up, is the insurance. That is the only thing. And now that I have the time, because before, we were focusing on making money at the business, now I have the time to try and figure out, or at least start the process of whatever it requires to do so. I don't know if it needs money from me or not. I know it's going to need time. I hope it's not too much, but that to me is where we can go as far as getting something back for the house. My thought process on the house is we will make way more money from the candles this year than the house was ever going to bring us. Honestly, we might already be at what the house was going to bring us what we did in the last 3 months. The house was never going to make us hundreds of thousands of dollars. If we stay on track with what we're doing right now, at a very, very minimal scale, we're doing $10,000 to $15,000 every single month. That's $120K to $180K in the year. So, like I said, I be just confused, and I don't understand how people operate. But the reason I brought up in the beginning is because I am now starting to get to a point where I care less and less. So having these conversations, people start snickering. I used to just be like, whatever, cool, whatever. I'm getting to a point where I'm going to just having to start tell people how I feel about them when we have these conversations. Because for someone to think they can be disrespectful towards me and then I should not have any disrespect towards them, to me, is crazy. So going forward in the podcast, y'all probably hear of maybe some more conversations similar to the ones that I had recently, where we were arguing back and forth on the phone about situations like this. And like I said, we'll see what happens. We'll probably come up with another payment plan for another person who is invested into the house, and that money will come from the candles. They keep making jokes like, oh, it's probably gonna take me 20-30 years to get my money back from the house. I don't want to do that. The candles can't make enough money. I'm just like, all right, cool. Next topic though for the podcast is, I didn't even bring that up, bruh. It's not even on there. If y'all in the Discord, y'all would have seen this, right? So we have never, can I say that never? Maybe that's not true. That's probably not true. No, that's definitely true. We have never done a brand sponsorship. So we've had them in the email, but we just be thinking it's spam. We'd be like, whatever, it is what it is, and we go about our day, right? So now we were recently emailed for a brand sponsorship. Still seeing if it's gonna work. They want to pay us between $5,000 and $10,000 for 180 seconds of content. Right? They gave us 3 options. One of them is that. So my brain goes to, I don't know. I don't even know how to. I don't even know. But I don't know. That amount of money for what and where we are right now will come in so clutch. This recording too. Because the thing that we need the most is capital, right? We get a little bit of money here, a little bit of money here, a little bit of money here, but we need 1, revolving credit, and 2, a large amount of capital, like to just have sitting that we can deploy as necessary as it comes up. We're making money. We're doing fine. The business as itself is a healthy business. The problem is us. The problem is me and Melissa. Like, if someone else came on and took Ember Candle Co. as a business, they would be flourishing because they wouldn't have to deal with all the debt that we have to deal with, right? But the company in itself is very healthy. So the company needs capital to grow very, very, like,
to expand,
to do amazing, like, because y'all don't understand this, because obviously y'all are not in the candle space, right? Y'all are not in the candle space. Y'all don't understand how big of a deal we are, if that makes sense. Like, we're not big in terms of sales, we're not big in terms of notoriety, but right now we're the brand that if you were bar for bar, put us next to another candle, you're like, this candle is better than this one. Like, the candle is better. And then you go look at the brand, you go, the brand is better. You're like, I met them. I never met them. They're better, right? The problem is enough people just don't know that we exist yet, right? There are certain things that we have in our mind that we know we're going to execute on that are going to grow us up even more. From the beginning of the year, we told y'all, like, hey, we're going super hard on this year. We're going to, every minute of the day, we focus the candles. And we are making way more money than we did. If y'all go back and watch a podcast from a year ago today, you will see how broke we were. Yeah, a lot of y'all, some of y'all, not a lot. I think some of y'all knew, not a lot. We have a lot of more like stayers who are here right now. We used to argue over Pop-Tarts, and we used to eat day after day. Melissa would eat ramen noodles. I would have bread with agave and butter. That was it for the day. That was what, maybe twice or three times that's what I would eat, right? We don't have that problem anymore. And we have a very small infusion of capital into what we're doing. We just figured out how to grow the content that we do, or let me say it better this way. We have figured out how to leverage AI to grow our social media and grow our presence without having to do that much more work. In this month, we told y'all that our goal was to focus on online and sales and social media, right? I think in the first week, we got like 4 or 5 online orders. The Instagram is growing regularly. The YouTube channel is getting more views on its videos than we have subscribers. Everything is growing. The only constraint is me and Melissa. Like, we are the only constraint to the business because we have to take money and pay it towards debt. That's literally the only like constraint that we have. That and needing obviously more capital. There was an event that I think I told you about last week that you can make 100. The entrance fee to this Grand Central Terminal event is $20,000, and he said the average vendor makes $100,000 in like 5 weeks or something. And that's only one place. There's like 50, 70, 80 places to do that at. And if it's not $100,000, we could make 10, 15,000 in a month at 15, 20 places. And I'm like, when I say these things, right, and people hear it, what does the brain go to? Does the brain automatically go to hater? Like, oh, I need to, that's not, well, what if, and this, like, is that what, my brain doesn't get it. My brain doesn't see the correlation between where the possibility of where we are at and what we've done to where we see we're going to do. But listen, y'all don't see the vision right now. I get it. I understand. Y'all don't see the vision. That's what it is. Y'all don't see the vision. If you don't see it, you will. Okay, you absolutely will. Last week, we got asked to come to Grand Bazaar last minute because, I guess they respect the brand. They said, hey, we have an open spot. Do y'all want to come? On Friday, they text us that. I'm like, absolutely. For sure, we're going to go to the event. It's outside. It was great. For the weekend, we did, let's see. Last weekend, we did $1,578, right? Saturday was busy. It was. We didn't. What did we do on Saturday? I think we did like 606 on Saturday. So on Saturday we did $606. On Sunday with double booked we did $972. Right. Grand Bazaar, which was outside, we did very well at. And I think we could have done more if we had like 2 things came up. Right. Setting up in the beginning for like an hour to 2 hours, it was slow, and then after that, there were some candles we didn't have to sell, and the fair entrance for there is significantly lower than all the other fairs. So, my goal is always to just do as many fairs as consistently as possible, right? But like I said, this month we're trying to focus more on the online thing. If they do ask us to come back, we will. And I'm hoping, because, you know, again, the fairs enjoy us because we do a lot. We try to give more than we ask for. We go, okay, let's do social media for them. Let's tag them. Let's make good reels. Let's do posts. Let's do stories. Let's do pictures. Let's do email. Let's say, hey, we're at this place. Come visit us. People have fun at the fair. They tag us where they went. Let's make the setup so good that people enjoy the experience of seeing the setup, buying the candles, being able to say, where get this candle from? Oh, you got it from Artists and Fleas? Yeah, this candle company called Ember Candle Co. Go over there, check them out. Like, we are getting 5-star reviews on Google now, okay, for the candle brand in Brooklyn. I'm like, and we're not even pushing it. I think if you hit like a particular parameter, like if you buy 3 times or something like that, you get sent the email to like leave a review. So we don't even have set up to get a lot of reviews. It's literally just, hey, sometimes we getting reviews, right? Having that set up and actually pushing that is crazy, because people have come to buy a candle from Google Maps and we don't even push Google Maps. We don't get reviews. We don't try to get reviews. Nothing, man. I'm telling y'all.
We even ran ads this month.
Right. We didn't run no ads. We didn't run no ads this month at all. I haven't looked at Google Analytics in weeks. We had all these sales. I don't know where they came from. I just know that because we're focusing on the other stuff. The last month was just us doing fairs. Yeah. So
every day by accident. That wasn't even a plan. It just came up.
So, you know, there's that. I think, oh yeah, I showed y'all the storage unit from last week. This is a conversation that, what's it called, a conversation? This is a subject that I feel like a lot of people could get so much money from. Like, so much money. And I don't even think you have to be that good at it. Like, if anybody's listening to this and needs money and you have a lot of time, oh my God, please do this. Please, I've never done it, so I know the intricacies to it. My idea of what it requires and what I've seen, I'm telling you, you can make some money from this. So there are so many AI tools out right now, it's ridiculous. Like, it's insane. You can call up or go to local businesses and say, hey, can I do your marketing for you? Can you pay me retainer of $500 a month, $1,000 a month? And that money, that's very low, by the way. And then you go on ChatGPT, you go on, what's it called, Taylor Swift? Tailwind. You go on there, you go on Mid-Journey to get your pictures, you go on Canva to create your designs, and then you post the things at the beginning of the month and they just go up automatically throughout the whole month. I would pay someone right now I would easily pay someone $1,000 to run a social media team. If I paid you $1,000 a month and you were posting what we were trying to post every month, that's easily worth $1,000, right? So I'm like, you can do that on scale to multiple businesses, and you can find businesses that actually have the money that you can charge them for this. Like, I know, listen, a lot of y'all listening, y'all don't understand what I'm saying. I'm telling y'all, just go to ChatGPT and just ask it question. Oh my God, I really, anybody that needs money can do this. I'm telling you, oh my God, I'm focusing on candles. That's not my thing. It's not my business, but I'm using it for myself, for the business. That's how I know how great it is. That's how I know how it is. There's a company right now called Tailwind, right? They tell you what to post on your page and how many times. You can ask ChatGPT, if I want to grow my subscriber base or my follower base to X amount, how often should I post and what should I post? You can then take that to Tailwind and it will give you prompts of what you want to post, like on YouTube, on Pinterest, on Instagram, on TikTok. You can do all of that. From there, it could even give you a script to have for your videos. Is it like, you could easily make thousands of dollars a month, and I'm just like, oh my God, it's so crazy. I would love somebody else to do it so that we could talk about it, because I'm not gonna do it, but for somebody else, I could definitely check it out. So next topic is candle related. It's about the growth of the company. I have finally ordered several things from our new suppliers. The bags y'all saw in last week's podcast, I ordered them in bulk, so we're gonna have about 400 of those. Only the baby size. I'm gonna order the middle size this weekend coming up. The wax samples should be here within a week, I'm hoping, so we can check that. I placed the order for the vessels in the middle size, so that's gonna be coming. So right, that's it. The last two things we have to order for that is the wax and the big size vessels. And and I placed the order for the velvet, the bag. Oh, y'all didn't even see that. Y'all didn't even see the velvet bag. I'm gonna show y'all the velvet bags. So if you ever bought a candle from us before, then you would know that they used to come wrapped in cellophane with a bow on it and like a ribbon, right? So now this is so this is one of them. This is one velvet bag. It has a burgundy string on it, if you can see, right? There's a candle in here. This will be for the signature size vessel, right? So you buy a candle and it'll come in here. Boom, there's a candle in there. You just take it out like that, right? That's one size or one variation of it. And then the other one is this color with this string, which is more of a rose gold color, and it has the name of the candle on it. So the bottom is the name of the candle, top is the name of the brand. There are still some iterations we want to add to it, but as of right now, this is a good starting point. We got room sprays coming.
Room sprays?
Room sprays and body sprays, excuse me.
And perfumes.
Perfumes, body sprays, and room sprays. So this is an example of, this is the sample container for the spray, right? So this one's it's like a lipstick, so you gotta turn it. Hold on, let me see. You see that? It's like lipstick, and then just a little spray. So this, we are started to do this now. So we're testing that. Right now we have a candle burning over there for the middle size, so that's going to be coming out soon. And I really think that would increase our sales a lot, those two things.
You want to show them?
They saw it. Okay. So yeah, this is one of the cans with the wax in it. Right, this is the old one. This is the middle size, right? Little baby one. So I think people will definitely buy this a lot because of the price, and I think it burns enough. Like, it's a good candle. This will probably get you at least a month. I mean, damn. Yeah, the other one gets you some more than a month. This probably get you a month.
Yeah.
So, there's that. But yes, listen, we're making moves. Like, y'all see the moves we're making, and still people question the candle company. Y'all question us. Y'all don't see the vision. Okay, you want to be on the right side of history. Remember the people that did not see the vision. Okay, remember that. But now it's is the League of Villains segment. So I'm gonna let my beautiful, phenomenal, gorgeous baby girl come up.
I just did my hair while I was doing the podcast. Let's see. So I've been journaling. Been trying something different with Donovan and I in our relationship, because we'll get into arguments and stuff, or like, let's say it doesn't start off as an argument. It'll start off as a conversation, and then the conversation, like, let's say that I have more emotion or feelings attached to whatever we're talking about, or feel strongly against about whatever Donovan's talking about. It may veer into the argument side and become more of that. So what I've been doing is, once I realize that I have taken either, like, if I realize that I'm being I don't really like saying emotional, because I don't think it depicts the proper picture, but it is a part of what it is. It's also if I am trying to use logic, but it's like either circular or I just don't like something. It'll be like that. If I just don't like something, it doesn't matter what Donovan says. I'm probably gonna try, but what about this? But what about that? And it's just that I don't like the thing. So I've been saying up front, like, I'm just being emotional about this. I don't like it. Like, it makes me feel anxious. X, Y, and Z. And from there, we're able, because that's how I'm actually feeling and that's the root of it, instead of me trying to talk in Donovan's language and tell him why his logic is stupid, which doesn't really be the case. It's more like, listen, this is how this makes me feel. I don't like how this feels. And then Donovan's response normally helps me to feel better about whatever we're talking about, if that makes sense. Where it's like, okay, if you feel anxious about not getting to this place on time, how long is it going to take us to get there? How long is whatever you're doing right now going to take you to do? Okay, and then it'll kind of like bring me back to reality and be like, oh, okay, so this is not as serious as I think it is. Or like, because I get very invested or passionate about whatever we're talking about. I like that. I like those words very much more than emotional. So yeah, very invested, very passionate about whatever's happening, and I kind of like things done a certain way. I like playing a lot of business games, funny enough, like cooking diaries or whatever. So it's kind of like, if I do this in a proper sequence, everything will be done by a certain time. I'll be killing those games. So that's kind of how I do the candles and stuff like that. So then, but I also take that into our day-to-day. So it's like, okay, if I need to go get cat food, go get groceries, and go get something for the candles, instead of me going back and forth to like go to the house, go get the thing, go to the house, go get the thing, I'm trying to figure out, okay, what's the best way, what's the best locations, what's the best time for me to, what's the best area that has all three of these things that I'm looking for. Like, that's just how I go about things. So, but it's not always that serious. So I just thought that was interesting, how me saying or being more upfront about how I'm feeling has helped us in those conversations. So there's that. Like I said, I've been journaling like I'm supposed to. I've been putting, my social media of choice right now is Pinterest. Something in my gut tells me that if we figure out Pinterest and really get our product popping on there, it'll give us a big return. That's just how I feel. So I'm going to try it out. I'm probably going to look more into it. I might take a pause on kind of posting. Now, I wouldn't say take a pause on posting the content, but I'll look into more anecdotes to see if it's really something I should be doing. But it feels like the right place. I spend personally a lot of time on Pinterest, and I feel like the people that we cater our product to probably do too. So I just feel like it would be a great place to find more people who would appreciate our product, appreciate how it looks, appreciate the work that we've been putting into the branding, and want to be a part of that community. So there's that. Did you bring up the honeycomb credit thing? Do you want to? Oh, okay. So also in our emails, we've been getting emails from this company. I don't know if it's a bank or if it's fintech or if it's CDFI, but there is a brand, funny enough, ironically called Honeycomb Credit, that reached out to us, and pretty much their marketing is like, oh yeah. So pretty much what they do, or how they found us, they reached out to us because we do pop-ups. So they look at the brands that are on pop-ups, they try to see if they align with the companies that they want to help, and they'll reach out to them and be like, hey, I see that you've been doing all these pop-ups. Aren't you tired of doing pop-ups? Don't you want to get a brick and mortar? We'll fund that for you. That's pretty much their tagline to get people in. However, after talking on the phone with them and meeting them, they said that it's not just that. That's just one of the things that they do. So they'll give us funding to do more markets, to get more inventory, to hire people. So I'm really, really excited about that. And it made me feel good talking to them as well, because the person that I was on the phone with was extremely excited about our brand. She said that she saw our Instagram. She absolutely loved it. She loved our website. It's so much that she wants to buy a candle. Like, it's just feels really, really good when someone is, appreciating the work that you put into it. So I just thought that was really cool. But like I said, I have a meeting with them actually tomorrow to go deeper into that funding situation and seeing what they can do. And it's funny because she was like, give me a snapshot of your business. I'm like, well, we made $25K within the last 2 months. Last year we made $30K for the whole year. So, right? So it's like, there's that. Then you got, I told her that we mostly do markets, just the whole thing about the brand. And she's like, oh my gosh, we love businesses like yours. I can't wait for us, to start this journey and everything like that. And I'm like, okay, but there's one thing though. I have really bad credit. And she kind of laughed because she was like, oh, what do you think is bad credit? I'm like 500, like flat. It's not no 510, not no 515, not no 550, 500 flat. This is bad, okay? It's the bottom. And she was like, we could work with that. She said that if your business is showing if your business is profitable, you got a customer base, you're growing, like we can overlook that if you have these other things. And we've paid back at least 5 loans already. Like on paper, we've paid back at least 5 loans. So that is something that also helps in that whole credit department that we're lacking in. So it's just, I'm really, really excited. I hope good things come from it. And yeah, that's the end of the League of Villains section.
My last topic for the day is the Kiva loan that we have. So we strategically chose to pay off that Kiva loan, which was $1,000. And I'm wondering how it works. Does everybody get their money back from that? Like,
funny, yeah, you should ask them.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him because that's very curious. Cause it's like a crowdfunding platform.
It's funny. They might have to go on to Kiva
and take the money out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm curious about that. So the goal was to pay them back the $1,000 and then re-up on more. Melissa, how much did you put for the next round of funding?
I think I asked him for 10.
So Melissa had put $10,000 as the request. Did you have a number you requested the first time?
Probably 10.
Okay. So yeah, they kind of choose what they think you can do. So we requested the 10, and they got back to us and said they needed more information about the business in terms of like documented stuff. And I'm okay with that because I think as long as we can raise something that can help the business. Like I said, we need like to be where we feel like is a comfortable place, like 50 to 100K. Like,
I'll say 200.
Oh, 200K. Okay. For someone that be real conservative, you be real high with these numbers that you want. I mean, you know what is funny about that? My personality works opposite in that way because I don't like asking people for too much. So I will try and ask for the minimum amount that I could use to get to the next step.
I agree with that. So but
I feel like you don't. I feel like you ask for.
I agree with that, but I will kind of I guess ask different people.
But I feel like you would ask for the most. I feel like you would ask for all the money that we could use. Like
start, yeah.
What do you mean?
So I'll throw that number out there and see what they say.
Right, I would be like, listen, we need X. Like, if you right now for us to do what we need to do to really grow, like let's say like 150K to 200. I think that 50K could get us to a spot where we're still bootstrapping enough of the company that we would be in a very similar situation, but we wouldn't be comfortable. I feel like 150K to 200 makes us comfortable. Where we buy everything for the whole year right now. We buy all employee salary. We have that right now. We have ads running. We have photo shoots. Go, huh?
For me, it's the markets because those are so expensive. Because I really want to do the urban spaces.
All right, we'll be back here next Tuesday. You can find all the behind the scenes content on our social medias. Mine is DonivanGray, DonivanGray, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, Anita Byrne. ANETABURN. Go follow the candle page, Ember Candle Co. on Instagram and on YouTube. You know what it is. Hashtag Bamboo Project 2023. The Villan origin story, the road to 500K. And with that being said, actually, what is the... It is the same one. Yeah, road to 500K. Bamboo Project